Hi, I'm Brian. That's JJ. This is White Heat. This is episode 71, presented by Godzilla Media. Of course, sponsored by our good friends at Johnstone Supply, as well as Mohawk Honda. And a reminder that we're also sponsored this month by our friends over at the Hideaway at Saratoga Golf Course, your home for Godzilla Media football Sundays this October. Mr. Alexander, a very good afternoon to you, sir, as we are I don't know if it's dreary where you are, but it's been dreary and rainy here all day.
Very.
Yeah. So, how are you, good sir?
Sore. Rain always makes everything act up.
Same shit,
Recovering.
different day.
Yep, recovering from the weekend. Did a little too much physical activity. I need to realize baby steps, quite literally.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, we're just gonna jump right into it. First things first. It's the realist. New Japan. They started their TV title tournament this past week. Allow me to break into the bracket now. I apologize for the low grade technology used here for this. So, what see, because the you're gonna see the way the bracket was designed by New Japan in a
Mm-hmm.
graphic form, and you're gonna kind of be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna see how I had to. You'll understand in a second.
Oh, I
So
get it.
so there's the bracket for those of you looking on YouTube. I'll explain it to those who are on the listening side of our platforms, whether it be on Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever it may be. So typically when you make a bracket, you make it so the names are going down
Right.
vertically.
Right.
Like the names go across horizontally, but as far as listing them in a bracket, they're listed vertically. Uh New Japan decided to reverse that logic and has the names going vertical, but the bracket going horizontal. Very odd. I don't get it, but that's what they did. Let me just take a
Because
look.
it's a race to the top. It's to the king of the mountain.
Okay, Impact. Um, so far they've had 6 of their 8 first round matches over the past week. David Finlay defeated Kanemaru. ZSJ defeated Alex Zane, so those two will face in a quarterfinal match. Yoshihashi upsetting Jeff Cobb. At least I would call it an upset.
Boo.
Evil beat Hanare, so those two will face in a quarterfinal. And then the other two opening round matches, Sonata defeated Tai Chi, and Kenta beat Hiroki Goto.
Yay.
So that'll be a quarterfinal matchup as well. The other two opening round matches that still have not taken place that will happen next Wednesday, the 26th. That'll be Ren Narita against Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano against Great Okan, with the winners facing each other in the quarterfinals. As far as the remaining schedule, real quick, the Finley, ZSJ, and Yoshihashi Evil quarterfinals will take place on the 27th, which is next Thursday. Then on the 30th, which is a Sunday, we'll get the quarterfinals of Sonata versus Kenta, and then the winners of those other two opening round matches I mentioned earlier. And then November 5th, we both semifinals. And then the championship will not be decided officially until Wrestle Kingdom, when the two finalists will face off in a one-on-one match. So that's the way the bracket breaks down. Obviously, Jeff Cobb losing, like I mentioned, is the upset, and really the only. You could argue Kenta Goto was probably the most evenly matched as far as reputations and career resumes are concerned. But all in all, I guess, Jeff Cobb losing is really the only thing that anyone would be really shocked by out of that.
I'm still not a fan of like everyone associated with it. Like, this is supposed to be like a title for young up and comers, and it's all the same faces.
Let's figure this out. Hang on. Let me pull up the bracket again. So let's think of this. If they want to go with, he's not young per se because he's been around for a while. David Finlay would make the most sense on the left side of the bracket if
Yeah.
that's the concept they're going with.
Uh-huh.
The other side,
Okan.
Okan, uh, maybe you feel bad for Sonata having to vacate the U.S. title. I don't know.
Maybe, but
That's the only. Yeah, that's really all I can.
yeah,
Yeah, that's really
yeah,
as far as living up to the principles of the championship.
right.
That those are the ones that make the most sense.
It's like it's a mid card title, and you got a whole bunch of guys that were like have been main eventing New Japan for the last decade.
Right.
Like it's a mid card title. Keep it a mid card title. Like
Correct.
it kind of reminds me of back in the day. I remember like um when Austin had just turned heel and joined up with Trips, a 2-man power trip, and Trips won the Intercontinental title. There was like this big deal of it was only like the second or third time maybe where someone had already been a world champion and then held a secondary title after it. Because
Mhm.
once you're in that main event echelon, like holding on to a mid card title, just it doesn't do anything for it. Like
Right.
you're not really elevating the title. The title's bringing you down.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
You know, there's
Um.
there's there are obviously exceptions to the rule, but they're few and
Mhm.
far between.
Right. No, you're right. Um. Yeah. I. Like I said, it's a lot of same old basically. With,
Right.
but at the same point, like unless you dip into your New Japan Strong roster, like
Right.
there's not much there to offer if
Right.
that's what you're trying to do.
Right. Like this TV title should be like it should be the stepping stone for the young lions that have graduated into having their own gimmick.
Right. Correct. Yeah. But I don't know.
Like, why isn't Red Juice Kid in this tournament?
Yeah. Yeah. You
Like
more.
he would be like one of the people. Like, I'm not saying put it on him, but I'm saying like put him in the tournament.
Right. No, I agree. I completely agree. Um. Obviously, not a whole lot of forward thinking there. Um. In the meantime, that's really it for New Japan. Honestly, I mean, they just started a tour earlier today, but there's not really a whole lot going on with that tour until the very end of it, which is not till the first week of November.
Right.
Um, and then they have a show going on next weekend in the U.S. Rumble on 44th Street.
Yeah, that's right.
They only have two matches announced from what I recall for that show, which is El Phantasmo and Takagi in another KOPW match. And then I believe it's a tag match that they also announced. Give me
And that's the one
yeah,
happened at the
Okada and Eddie Kingston against Jay White and Juice Robinson.
that's the one happened at the Hulu Theater, right?
The Palladium is where it's going to be.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be the Palladium in Times Square in New York City.
Yeah.
Next Friday night
Right.
is when they're going to do it. They also have the night before. They have a Halloween special the night before, also at the Palladium.
Hmm.
There's nothing listed for it at all, which is weird. And then obviously the new brand Tamashi, that starts the 11th and 13th of November, so that still has a little ways to go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that with New Japan. Impact. Yeah, that kind of yeah. Um. So I'm not gonna run through the whole fucking show because a lot of it's just empty weight, really.
Yes.
The basic notes I got out of the TV show from this past week. One, obviously, they had the promo with Bully Ray and Josh Alexander in the ring, where Bully Ray is saying he wants to do things the right way. Sure, fuck it, whatever.
Frozen.
You are frozen, and if you unfreeze, wonderful. If not, then we'll just work through it and hope you unfreeze. I can still hear you, so that's okay right now. In the meantime, so let me me stop there for a second and just go with that. So, we're really going to go down this road where Bully Ray, are we really going to do this drawn out thing where he's going to claim he want to do things the right way, and then he's just going to do things the wrong way and be an asshole all over again? Like, it's like we're just rehashing the same shit again with him. I don't understand it. It's just I'm at a point where I wasn't a fan of Bully Ray coming in to begin with, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
But that's what they want. That's where they want to go, and I just the way they're trying to tell this story though is just I don't get the point of it. As there we go, we lost JJ. So as I thought we were going to, I'm at a point where Bully Ray is. I respect the hell of his career. Obviously, he's a two-time Hall of Famer. We get all that. Blah blah blah. Does Impact really need Bully Ray? No. Like this just. And the other thing is, what does this do for Josh? Like, what does this do for Josh Alexander? Like, have we really run out of opponents and creative ideas? Like, have we really run out of that much for Josh? Like, this just doesn't seem like something that. It doesn't seem like something that's really going to help you grow Josh as a champion, or further legitimize him as a champion. Like, there's other talents you could use if you're trying to build up Josh as a champ. Or there's other talents that could have taken that call your shot gauntlet and ran with it in a more creative direction than just having Bully Ray win and go, I want to do things the right way. Like there are better options on both sides of the fence. There are better options for just in general who to take out of the call your shot gauntlet. And there were better options for as far as if you're trying to build Josh up as a bigger champion, there were better options in that respect as well. But obviously we'll get JJ's thought on that when he gets back. Aside from that, afterwards, Bobby Fish eventually wanted a title shot, ended up losing to Alexander. We'll revisit that once we get JJ back. Everything at this point, go into the knockouts division real quick. Everything at this point to me, it just screams like we're leading towards Killer Kelly taking on Jordan Grace at some point. Killer Kelly just keeps on winning. Jordan Grace took care of Masha Slamovich over at Bound for Glory a week and a half ago. And I just feel like that's the match they're kind of building for. At least it feels like in a way. I'm not 100% certain on that, but it just kind of feels like that. When? I don't know. But if I had to guess, I think their next pay-per-view is until January, if I remember correctly. So I guess kind of waiting to see at that point. Maybe they could use it as just a blow-off at a digital-only event. Not sure, but it just feels like Killer Kelly is the next big challenger they're pushing towards in that knockouts division. To provide the same kind of challenge to Jordan that Masha Slamovich was seemingly going to be giving Jordan. Heath and Rhino, they're gonna shot the tag team titles this coming week. As we mentioned last week, Maria, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett done with Impact. So one would assume this is the direction they decided to go with the belts to get them off Bennett and Taven so they can leave with the belts. Which now I believe makes twice in a row the champions contracts expired while holding the belts and decided not to renew. The other ones being the Good Brothers, obviously, with Anderson and Gallows, who we now know are in WWE. So yeah, just obviously Heath and Rhino aren't going anywhere. Because I don't see Hunter wanting to bring in Heath, at least not anytime soon. And Heath just seems to be comfortable being on the circuit as it is right now. Um, and Rhino, again, just I don't see that being a real fit to anything Hunter's looking to accomplish as of right now. Maybe down the road for something. If maybe he wants to do some ECW related at some point, but not right now. Not like Rhino doesn't fit into anything right now. Um, so that's that. And the other thing that factors into the Bully Ray thing that I put at the end of my notes and just saw. So not only are we getting, now we're going with the Bully Ray wanting to do the right thing side of things. Now they've also added Tommy Dreamer to the mix because at one point Tommy is backstage for a promo, not promo, but a segment with Bully in the locker room. And Tommy's basically saying to Bully, don't make me look like an ass. Don't make me look stupid for bringing you back. Which eventually leads to them saying they're going to tag team as we get JJ back in here. What are we sipping on today, by the way?
Just coffee.
It's coffee.
Yep.
All right. So let me roll through what I've been going through with Impact.
Yep. Real quick. I heard your stuff about Bully Ray there being nothing of merit. That's when I crashed out.
Okay. Basically, what I was saying is, obviously, we already went over how we thought there were better options for people to win that Call Your Shot Gauntlet. We already went over that last week.
Yeah.
At the same token, the other thing I thought of is, what does a program like this, the way they're setting it up, how does this even help Josh Alexander?
It doesn't.
Like, isn't the point to a program involving the champion about not just elevating the challenger, but also try to elevate the champion at the same time?
So in Scott D'Amore's eyes, it's I need to bring in someone of name value to compete against Josh, because since winning the title, it's been the same faces that we've had, and we need to bring in someone that's a name recognition. But it's just nobody asked for this. And it's weird. It's like D'Amore thinks, oh, I'll bring in Bully Ray, and that way, our viewership will freaking double. And the numbers have spoken. They had 94,000 viewers this past week. Dude, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I'm muted. My bad.
Okay. I thought it was me.
I forgot I muted myself for a second. My bad. But not only is this just not only we just talk about this being a Bully Ray Josh Alexander thing, now we're bringing in a third wheel because they had a backstage segment during the show later on where Dreamer is talking to Bully. And now they're playing off the don't make me look like an idiot for bringing you back into the fold angle.
Oy.
And then the two of them agree they wanted to do a tag match. So they're tagging in this week's show, which is going to be against Ace Austin and Chris Bay. God bless their souls. So Austin and Bay get to be the sacrificial lambs to a pint-sized Bully Ray and an XL-sized Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah. Chris Bay just signed an extended contract with Impact.
Bless him.
Dude, you're in the thick of this Bullet Club stuff. Shouldn't you be trying to see if Japan wants you a little more? See if you can get some more money out of them? Chris Bay is one of those guys who I think could fit into a WWE mold eventually. So.
Yeah. I look at Chris, and I don't know how fair this is. I think I kind of look at this in the same mold as how Swerve fit into the mold.
Yeah.
Now Swerve was patient enough, obviously. Maybe doing different and better things right now. But
Right.
as far as a role to fill, like it's very much a Swerve, mellow kind of mold that I
Yeah.
think Chris could fall into,
Yeah.
which is not bad, not bad at all. I mean, just like what Melo's been doing
Right.
over the last 12 months.
And like, not that I'm saying Trick Williams doesn't have potential eventually, but imagine if Chris Bay was in that spot with Melo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there's a lot more money in that.
I agree. I don't know. There's just some guys that just have it sworn off they don't want to work for Connecticut. I don't know why.
They need to get out of the mentality.
Yeah. Now to switch back, I know I'm kind of jumping back and forth, but I'm trying to make everybody understand the nonsensical bullshit that's going on with the world title scene here.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we got all this bully race stuff going on and the injection of Tommy Dreamer as far as being the third wheel and the whole thing with Bully on the Bully side.
Right.
Well, here's the other thing. So at the end of that opening segment with Bully Ray and Josh, Bobby Fish came out and challenged for the title. Josh accepted. Later in the show, Josh beats Bobby in that title match. But
get the fuck out.
But that wasn't the end of the show.
Ugh.
So I want to make sure we got this straight. Frankie Kazarian taps out Mike Bailey.
Oh God, he's option seeing that shit.
Yes.
Jesus fuck.
From TV standards, not even a week after winning the belt, he's already going with option C.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Now, obviously, they haven't officially booked when and where this match is going to be, but it's like, why? What? Then it brings to obviously A, why, B, then was it necessary like
because Frankie has never held the Impact World title, and this is the way he'll be able to do it, guaranteed.
Stupid.
Very. Like, so when they first introduced option C, I was like, huh, that's different. But then it got used too often because like the option C thing should be like, okay, I've been X Division champion. I've held on to this title. I've beaten everyone I can. Now that's it. Option C. I want the main title. Not a week after you fucking won it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there should be a time limit of some sort.
You know, like if anyone should have been option seeing that title in the past 2 years, it should have been Ace Austin.
Yeah. I know. But apparently not. Because here's Kazarian. The only two other things that I really took away from Impact, number one, I just feel like, and this is just a general observation, I could be off base on this, and it's not necessarily going to happen right away. It's just a feeling I have for future booking.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're moving towards a Killer Kelly Jordan Grace title match at some point.
Probably.
That's the feeling I get because they keep pushing Killer Kelly. She keeps winning.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, there's not a whole lot else that makes any sense at all in that Knockouts division at this point.
Right.
Unless you're trying to push, unless you're trying to have Mickie James play out the way that Trish retired almost 20 years earlier.
Oh,
where she wins the belt, and then retires as champion. Again, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but
I hate
when
people retire as champion, unless, of course, there is a dire medical reason as to why they have to. Right. I hate when people retire as champion.
I agree.
That's just, that just shows you don't want to do business on the way out.
Right. And then the last thing to make note of, I can't remember the tag team that was looking to originally get a shot at the tag team titles, but in the end, there was a number one contenders match, and Heath and Rhino were getting the shot at the tag titles. So obviously, assuming nothing else happened at the tapings, those are probably your new tag team champions right now. Because we know about what happened with the champs at the time of the tapings, which were Taven and Bennett. and they have since left Impact, did not resign, and have gone on to sign with Tony Khan.
And they didn't show up on Rampage with the belts, did they?
No, they did not have the belts with them when they showed up on Rampage.
Okay.
So that should tell you right there what's going on.
Right.
Okay. So before we get into grabbing our torches and pitchforks for AEW, just want to tell you something about how you can light up your house and warm it up. That's with your furnace.
Warm it up, Chris.
That's right. You gotta check it, make sure it's in working order. I know it's been getting chilly. Like we're dipping down into the 50s around here, maybe even as low as the high 40s this week here in upstate New York. You need to make sure your heat is in working order so you're not left out in the cold this winter. And that's our friends at Johnstone Supply in Troy. They will make sure you have the best brands in your household. That way, nothing breaks. You don't have to worry about trying to fix it again later on in the winter, such as Goodman, Fujitsu, Westinghouse, all in stock, all at great prices. Talk to anybody over at Johnstone Supply. You can talk to our boy George. You've been with Getting There with Gods a few times. Great dude. Also talk to Kev, James, Bird, all with great knowledge about how to make sure your furnace is in proper working order. Or, hey, if you need a brand new heating system, they can do that as well. Just give them a call at 518-272-5922 or visit them at their store, 2600 6th Avenue in Troy. Make sure your furnace is in good working order or you get yourself a new heating system overall so you're not left out in the cold this winter. 518-272-5922. Visit them at 2600 6th Avenue in Troy or check out johnstonesupply.com. Do you have your notes ready, good sir?
Mm-hmm.
I like to begin by having a moment of silence and say rest in peace to the good career of Renee Paquette.
Mm-hmm. Hey, she's gonna get paid to do fucking VTRs once every month. She got that Mark Henry money now. And she's gonna cut back to nothing. She's gonna say one line a week and get paid.
I gotta be honest, I'm kind of shocked that. Now, granted, I know that her husband works in AEW.
Yeah.
But it kind of shocks me that, at least from what we know as of right now, nothing's been, at least I don't think anything's been confirmed about this happening or not. But at this point, I'd be kind of shocked that Hunter didn't give her a call at least.
I think once John signed that 5-year extension, he said, I'm not going to bother. I'm going to wait for them to go under, and then I'll give her a call.
Fair. So she comes out, gets the Toronto pop because she's a Canadian girl.
Kind of.
Ish.
I mean, there was a pop-ish, but it wasn't anything recognizable, which is hilarious because all the Basement Goblins were claiming she was going to get a bigger pop on Wednesday than Bray did on the previous Saturday. Yeah. How'd that work out for you?
Right. So then she introduces Christian. Christian talks, whatever. So they decide to open the show with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Luchasaurus wins, but I have a question.
Yes.
You saw this match?
Oh, yes. I have notes.
Okay. So I have a very specific question to the match, and I'll let you get to your notes for the match.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck chokeslams somebody like that?
Luchasaurus. That's who.
You know which one I'm referring to, right?
Yes.
The setup to the finish?
Yeah.
Where he just kind of grabs and he's like,
Yeah.
The fuck is that?
Uh-huh. It was terrible. Because Luchasaurus is terrible. Let's see. My notes are, so JR gets reprimanded for a year by calling Jungle Boy by his shoot name, and then now that's all they fucking say.
Oh, now it's their thing. Like, it's on the lower third when he enters.
Yep.
Now they got Justin Roberts saying
Fighting Jack Perry. OG miraculously, there's a fucking table there at the entranceway now. That wasn't there like when the match started. And this is my big note. This is supposed to be a grudge match. It should look like a fucking fight, not choreographed bullshit. And like this is the culmination. Like this is their long-term storytelling. And like that should have looked like a Memphis brawl. And instead it looked like indie pre-show. Like, it shouldn't have been a whole bunch of fucking choreographed flippy-doos. It should have just been a fucking fight. I don't know what's so hard to comprehend about that.
A lot, apparently.
Like, ugh.
Yeah, I've got nothing for you in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we got clusterfuck of an interview. Ethan and Stokely backstage with Renee. Then we got Matt Hardy and Private Party angry because apparently we're just selling contracts left and right all over the place.
It's their way to write Andrade and Rush off TV.
So apparently Stokely purchased the contracts of Private Party from the Andrade office
for reasons.
So that sets up a match on Rampage where Paige faces Isaiah Cassidy. If Paige won, Matt Hardy was going to be signed to the firm.
Mm-hmm.
But if Cassidy won, then Private Party could go and join Matt Hardy.
Yeah. So, like, you know how usually, like, when a contract is bought out and there's a whole long thing drawn out about how they hate being in there, and finally there's a match where it's like, okay, if you win this match, your contract is null and void. Yeah, let's just skip all of that. Let's go from we bought your contract to here's your out.
I mean, they had been doing that with Andrade, in fairness. I'm not trying to excuse them. I'm not trying to excuse this particular thing, but I'm just saying in general, that's what they were doing with Andrade.
Right, and that's what they were doing with Andrade. But now, because he's written Andrade off TV, instead of just scrapping what he had figured out he was going to do for it and figuring out something else, I'm just going to go boop and put this over here and hope nobody notices.
Basically. Then we get Wardlow and Samoa Joe destroying QT Marshall and Nick Comoroto.
Fucking terrible.
Duh.
Like really terrible. And then, like, okay, so this is when I really noticed where I was just like, because, okay, if they had said it once, I would have let it go. But they said it like 4 or 5 times during the whole broadcast. They kept talking about this standing room only crowd in Toronto. Both upper tiers were empty. And a third of the floor was empty. You could see it when they would pan from the entrance over. Go, oh, shit.
No comment. So, talk about filling TV for the sake of filling TV. So the match ends. The embassy comes out cutting 90 seconds of whatever with Nana and Cage.
Because fucking Wardlow interfered in their match with FTR for their ROH tag belts, which, number one, why were they getting a shot at the ROH tag belts when they hadn't been on fucking Dynamite or fucking Rampage at all? And number two, big fucking deal. Like, so this is like, it's everything just made no sense.
Right. So we got 90 seconds of jibber jabber between Nana and Cage.
Jibber jabber,
then
jabber jabber jabber.
Then FTR comes out to challenge the embassy to a 6-man tag for Rampage. And then we get Shawn Spears,
who has not been on TV since he was since the Pinnacle still existed, and he was a heel. But now he's just a babyface because they're in Canada.
Yep.
And he's supposed to get this huge ovation because it's Shawn Spears.
So basically, the Pinnacle is reformed, except Samoa Joe has replaced MJF.
Ugh.
Well, think about it.
I know, but a lot of good that did him last time.
Spears, it's the Pinnacle, but instead of MJF, they have Samoa Joe.
And they've actually been referencing the Pinnacle during the promos.
Yeah, one of these things is not like the other.
Oh, God, you know what this means?
What?
This means after fucking Appreciation Society versus Blackpool finally dies, they're gonna fucking start
No, no,
Jericho
no,
versus Pinnacle.
no.
Yeah, they are.
Don't you wish that? Don't you wish that of my Ricky Bobby? Don't you dare!
Jericho's got the book on that, dude.
God Almighty. Anyways, moving on. We get Jericho in 2.0 backstage with Tony. I'll continue to say this every week until it stops happening. Do not put a microphone in front of the mouth of Matt Menard.
Nope.
He makes me want to kill somebody.
Cocaine.
Not literally. Then we get Swerve and Daddy Ass.
Twas not
Swerve
a good match.
What?
Twas not a good match.
Swerve uses the ropes to pin Billy. Sure.
So Swerve's definitely a heel now, or until Tony decides otherwise.
And then at the end of the match, it looked like the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass are going to scissor. Smart Mark comes out, announces he's trademarked the phrase "scissor me" in pro wrestling. So the Acclaimed can't use it unless they want to be sued. Fucking whatever, man.
Mark Sterling ruins everything. I've been saying that since I've shared locker rooms with him.
Whatever. Then we get MJF backstage with Marvez. You know, because you just hired Renee, but you're only going to use her for one backstage interview. That's good.
That's all she does.
Stokely interrupts MJF. Oh, go ahead.
So we go from having MJF out there because he's a ratings grabber to giving him a VTR.
Yep. Stokely interrupts MJF, and then MJF says he's gotten strike 2 for... I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, because of coming out after the match he had with Utilest the week before. That's right.
Right.
Because, yeah, that makes complete sense. Sure.
So they're gonna go ahead with flipping MJF babyface.
This is the way it's going, yes.
Terrible.
Then Tony intros John Moxley. Mox cuts a promo. Then Hangman comes out once Mox says his name. And then they show
I'm a man!
And they show shots of MJF sitting in the box with his casino chip while Hangman's cutting his promo.
Hangman's cutting himself in his promo.
Not really.
He tried to gig so he could bleed when he punched himself, but Hangman doesn't know how to gig correctly.
Right.
Or, do the trick of take a few aspirin before your fucking segment.
Nope. Didn't do it.
So like the whole thing is like if you were to listen to the audio of that, it sounds like the crowd is popping for Paige when in all reality they're popping for the spotlight going on MJF. But yeah, that Paige, the medicine's not working. And I'm a husband and I'm a father and I don't give a fuck.
You sound like a really bad monologue from a really bad B-rated movie.
It does.
But whatever, kid. Go get you some.
I'm not a kid. I'm a man.
We need to address a bigger topic at large with the next part of this show.
Mm-hmm.
We need to officially declare something that I know you've been declaring yourself, but I'm going to... What happened on Dynamite on Wednesday with the booking of that second hour of the show, officially, signed, sealed, delivered. Ring of Honor is a dead brand walking when Jericho Danielson
loses ratings.
Fuck that. Just booking your show. It's a dead brand when Jericho Danielson, not Jericho Yuta or Jericho Bandito, Jericho Danielson is in the middle of your second hour.
Mm-hmm.
And you're putting fucking Pac and Orange Cassidy in your main event.
Mm-hmm.
They have officially reached Code Red with Ring of Honor. To the point where Lance Storm made an excellent point on his podcast this past weekend. Either get your fucking deal done ASAP for whatever you think you're putting Ring of Honor on, or get everything Ring of Honor related off the fucking TV.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's bad enough you now have 1, 2, 3, 5 extra titles to deal with from Ring of Honor. World Pure TV Tag Trios.
And women's.
Right, 6. But the women's we haven't seen in 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay. I now have to absorb 6 extra titles you've been somehow trying to find time for on your broadcasts.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a booker / owner who's title happy and seems to be adding belts every quarter to the AEW brand.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much for the common fan to keep up with and make sense of.
But WWE has just as many belts.
No, they don't.
I know this.
No, they don't.
Even when the comparison was where they were adding in the NXT and the NXT UK titles at the time, those are separate programs. They had time for those titles, and plus those were also like different fucking shit. ROH has no TV show. ROH has no dedicated TV time other than when it's thrown into Dynamite, Rampage, or a random ass match on fucking YouTube. Mm-hmm. That's not the same thing. But good luck telling people this.
It's horrible. It's fucking horrible.
But Warner Discovery is going to give them because they're really impressed with the way AEW has been. No,
and please, on the other side of it, because you just touched on another thing. Mm-hmm. Just because they're playing a lot of AEW commercials during the Major League Baseball playoffs, and they're putting AEW banners on the green screen shit behind home plate during some of the games, doesn't mean fucking shit.
No, not at all. Like I said, since this company started, because I work from home or I would be home recovering, and I would have the TV on in the background, and on TNT and TBS at every hour on both stations, you would see at least 2 commercials every hour for AEW programming every day. It's been that way since they started. Why? Because it's a product that's on their thing, so they know if they have dead fucking ad time to fill, they'll just throw in AEW ads. And
by the way,
no one's watching.
And guess what? Guess what's just getting back into season this week? That's going to eat up some of that ad revenue that AEW currently has for free.
Hockey?
That started last week. This week starts the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
Which is why they're moving their TV show this week.
The next 3 weeks, isn't it?
I just know it's this week. I don't know about it.
I thought it was next 3 weeks. I could be wrong.
No, but this week is when fucking Coke Moranis is going to sit there fucking blowing his own horn come Thursday morning.
Fuck your ass.
Because they're going up against NXT and they're going to beat them.
Not a chance in hell.
I mean, they might. They'll beat. You know something? They may beat NXT by like 100,000 people. But then again, it goes back to the Wednesday Night Wars. This is your flagship show, and you're bragging about you beating the developmental league. It's not the same.
You're beating the C show. Congratulations.
But Tony Khan's going to argue because here's the thing, and so here's the problem. And I know I'm jumping the fence a little bit, but so NXT this upcoming week is going to have a lot of surprises on it because it's the go home show for Halloween Havoc, which is the first premium live event they've had since going back, since Trips took over completely, like the overall. And so it's actually on a Saturday, because Halloween Havoc before was just a random episode of NXT. So it's going to be on a Saturday, and they're trying to build for it. And so for it, there's going to be a lot of main roster cameos on this episode of NXT. That's just because that's how it was being built. So it would be a big go home show. But Tony Khan is going to sit there and go, they're pulling out all the stuff because they know they can't beat me.
Well, yeah, because right now they have, we know Raquel Rodriguez is going to be on the show. Cora Jade's on Raw tonight, so we're going to find out who's going to be on Raw.
Yep. Stax's mystery opponent's going to be a main roster person. Cameron Grimes is getting partners from the main roster for his 6-man.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a few main roster appearances.
Right. But now getting back to the match at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Swerve, bro!
Did I not tell you? I told you one or two things is going to happen. Either they were going to do the switch and Garcia was going to go to the Blackpool and Yuta was going to turn and go to the fucking Jericho, or this is going to all end up with Garcia just turning back on Danielson again anyway. I said it was one of two things.
Garcia prevents Jericho from using the world title belt on Danielson, then just does it himself. And Jericho retains over Danielson.
I thought the dumber part of that was the fact that Garcia came running down with the pure title over his shoulder. Like, why? Why? You literally had to toss a belt down to pick up Jericho.
Yeah, basically.
Like, dude, if you're going to come out, just wear it around your fucking waist. If like, there's no reason to come out with the damn belt at all. Like, that is indie-rific bullshit. Like, you're coming out in street clothes. You shouldn't have your fucking belt with you. You're doing a run-in. Go back and watch anything pre-Attitude Era and see if anyone ever did a run-in in street clothes with their title belt. Christ, when fucking Flair would do shit, in regular clothes, you never saw the title belt because it was in the Halliburton briefcase.
Fair point. All right. So then we get Jean-Pierre Lafitte. I mean, Nyla Rose backstage with Renee. Wearing the TBS title.
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
Yep. Anna Jay interrupts. She wants
Cries
to match
all
with
over the
Nyla
place.
for Rampage.
Threatens to choke everyone. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. So what? So Nyla Rose. Yeah. So Nyla Rose is the heel in this, but they're putting a heel against her. Because apparently, like, that's the whole thing is now
it's
they're
all
just
heel versus heel because Jade Cargill in her face.
But apparently, with Jade having the belt stolen, that is flipping Jade babyface.
No.
According to them.
No, because she's still a pompous ass.
Yeah, but she was too much of a cool heel.
No.
So now she's a babyface.
No. Then we got Sheeta and Storm beating Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter.
Terrible.
Looks like they're gonna have Sheeta and Storm go one-on-one eventually, is my guess, but who knows?
Apparently, everything Toni Storm does is the Storm Zero now, because everything she does that's not her finisher, like she did a pile driver and Sockface calls it the Storm Zero. I'm like, not even close, dude.
Yeah. I don't fucking know anymore.
I was like the week before this, like she did like a Michinoku driver and you called it the Storm Zero. Like, stop it, fucker. It's very simple. It's a Tiger driver. It's a Tiger driver. Unless it's a Tiger driver, it's not the Storm Zero.
Right. Then Butcher and Blade do a pre-tape ahead of their match on Rampage with Mox and Claudio.
Why? What? Just dig these fuckers up. They ain't been on TV and fucking when was the last time? Like,
Toronto, Buffalo, kind of close. I don't know.
Nothing.
I don't know. I don't know what to give you. I don't know what to give you. Allie's from Toronto. That's all I know. That's the best I can give you. I don't know. I don't know. I have nothing else for you.
And plus, once again, it's like you're throwing the world champion into a random ass throwaway tag match on Rampage. Like, why didn't you just make it Claudio and Yuta against Butcher and Blade? What's so hard about that?
Because he's Booker of the Year. Anyways, the main event. Oh my God.
I gotta laugh. I listened to a clip this morning, and Cornette's calling the All Atlantic the A&P title, and I kind of dig it.
So let me go through this sequence that ended the match. Pac goes ringside to try and confiscate the bell hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Danhausen curses Pac.
Uh-huh.
Is it Pac or Pac, by the way? Because I've heard everybody saying it 2 ways.
Supposedly Pac.
Sure, we'll go with Pac then. Okay. So Danhausen's cursing Pac. Pac says, fuck your shit, knocks him out, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Referee Bryce Remsburg confiscates the bell hammer. Sure, okay, good job, whatever. But as Bryce is returning the bell hammer to the timekeeper's table, Pac grabs another one under the ring.
Because it's just random hammers under the ring.
Sure. Gets in the ring, but Pac doesn't get to use it because then Orange knocks him out. Orange then picks up the hammer, but does the babyface thing, doesn't use it. He gives it to Bryce. And it's a pair of Orange punches, and Orange becomes the new All-Atlantic champion. The sad thing is that the closing sequence wasn't the thing that bothered me the most. Which I know what bothered me the most.
What?
Why does every babyface championship win get confetti?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why?
And it's always color-coded confetti, too.
Why?
Because that's...
It's not Nessa.
Yeah. That's the way it is.
Not necessary. I'm not gigged, so I wasn't trying to
It's
go
because
for the hangman.
it's because Tony Khan fucking found those confetti canyons at Spirit Halloween and said, I like these, and just has them attached to the fucking ring posts now.
This is so stupid.
Those confetti cannons are every indie from 4 years ago with the fog machines. Because they started getting those fog machines that you could stand straight up and put a color thing over it. So when people came through the entrance, there was the fog that would go straight up. Yeah, didn't Dynasty use those too?
So when Athena finally wins the TBS title, we're going to give Athena confetti too?
She's not gonna. But when Jade wins it back, she's going to get silver confetti.
No. God, no. Please, no. It's not winning it back. It's her belt.
Well, tell that to the security guards on Rampage.
Dumbest fucking shit ever.
Yes, it is.
Let's get to Rampage. So I'm assuming you didn't watch.
No, I just read about all the dumb fuckery on it, and then I fought with goblins.
So Moxley and Claudio, as you probably predicted, beat Butcher and Blade.
You don't say. Never saw that coming.
By the way, what's the biggest attraction related to John Moxley?
His entrance.
You put him on the show where you delete out entrances. What was the point of it? Because it was the opening match, and the opening match is always a cold open right into the bell. So what was the point? Dumbass motherfuckers. Nyla Rose beats Anna Jay in what was probably a horrible match, honestly.
And then Jade tried to take her belt back, and security said, no, you're not allowed.
Before the match, though, all of JAS was doing a promo in the ring.
Boy.
And primary to try and explain why Garcia remained with the group instead of joining the
Blackpool
Cuckold Club.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got appearance from Dalton Castle and the boys, who I believe are your current Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they are.
And,
well, Dalton Castle is the boys are interchangeable.
What do you mean the boys are interchangeable?
Because the boys aren't under contract, so anytime there's a defense of those titles, it could be the same boys or it could be whoever. Tony Khan just throws with Dalton Castle as the boys that day.
You're joking.
No. That was part of that interview I sent you a while back where I was like, Dalton's still on a per diem.
trying to remember their fucking names. Brandon and who's the other twin? The fuck's his name? I can't remember his own name, but
I don't remember.
really,
But
they're not
they
even.
they might as well be the Villanos or the Assassins or whatever, because they're interchangeable.
Anyways, the Tates. That's what they are. The Tates.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, might
So
as well
they
be
were there.
Sharon Tate because it doesn't matter.
Tanya Tate, Sharon Tate, tomato, tomato. If you don't know who Tanya Tate is, go look it up.
You don't know who Sharon Tate is? Go look it up.
So Dalton comes out, basically going along with the whole thing that Jericho's trying to beat every past ROH champion, blah blah blah. So Dalton challenges Jericho for a shot at the Ring of Honor World Title. That's what that was about.
Yay!
And then after that was the Nyla Rose and a Jay horrible match. Shit. What else we got here? Oh God, they had Vicky Guerrero interacting with 2.0 ringside during the match. Oh Jesus.
God,
I don't even want to know what that looked like.
Cocaine.
Then we get Paige versus Cassidy. Would you like to guess who won this match?
Ethan Page.
That's right.
Because God forbid we just scrap this fucking storyline completely like we could.
So now Matt Hardy is part of the firm.
Yay. So the firm went from possibly having potential to 3 weeks later becoming NWO Black and White.
Yep. Then we get the main event, which is Spears and FTR against Cage and Gates of Agony.
Ugh.
Spears, let's see. Spears hits the C4 on Khan, gets the pinfall for the win. And then to end the night, Taven and Bennett arrive with Maria Kanellis. Maria cuts some shit-tastic promo. And then Taven and Bennett challenge FTR for the Ring of Honor tag titles as they join the Embassy to beat down the baby faces.
Oh, they joined the Embassy too? Oh, Jesus.
No, they didn't join the Embassy. Them and the Embassy collectively beat down FTR and Spears until Joe and Wardlow made the save to go off the air.
Yep. Yeah. So let me sidetrack here to an argument I had with the Basement Goblin. Because Bennett and Taven showing up and all this shit, because they're like, oh yeah, because Bennett got done dirty by WWE, and everyone was like, no. And according to this Goblin, Bennett only got signed by WWE because they wanted Maria back, and she said, I won't come without Bennett. And then they proceeded to do nothing but screw them for the next 3 years. And then I popped in and I said, no. So number one, since it's been a few years, I can actually expound upon this now. I actually knew before any dirt sheets fucking did that Mike Bennett got signed, because I was there literally the day after he got the phone call, and he had called Bob Evans, and I was talking to Bob, and Bob was telling me about how he just got signed. I was like, that's good for him. That's good for Mike. And how he was happy as shit. And originally it was just supposed to be Mike. It wasn't supposed to be Mike and Maria. It was just supposed to be Mike. But then basically they were like, well, we could get something out of this. And that was why Mike went straight to the main roster instead of NXT. And in all reality, Mike should have gone to NXT. And then literally 2 weeks after they did that, they came back, they came in Survivor Series as Mike and Maria Kanellis. It was when Mike admitted that he was a fucking pillhead and had to go into rehab. Mm-hmm. So he basically waited until he got signed to let them know that. He didn't and so then he went into rehab, which they paid for. And then the second he gets out of rehab, he knocks up Maria.
Yep.
So then she has the kid, and while she's on maternity leave still, because the kid, he knocks her up again. So they got to sit there on the take with guaranteed money for basically 3 years to do nothing. Mm-hmm. So tell me how WWE fucked them.
No, you're right.
But good luck explaining to these people who are like, no, because this is documented. I'm like, documented where? Fuckle nuts.
Speaking of basement goblins, let's sidetrack to an AEW related topic.
Please do.
So Ariel Helwani.
Oh, yes.
Interviewed Tony Khan. I want to say it was
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I want to say it wasn't the week of when they were in New York City, but it was like
Around there.
I think around the week after or something, or it might have been taped the week of Grand Slam, but it wasn't put out there until afterwards.
Dude, I went from like Ariel's my people now, man.
Ariel is your mensch. Good for you.
Ariel's a good mensch. Yeah.
So, for those of you who haven't seen this interview, it's on YouTube. It's like an hour and 10 minutes long. Feel free to go look it up.
It's agonizing.
I've been a huge supporter of Ariel Helwani going all the way back to when he was doing stuff for MMA. He was working in Canada and doing MMA coverage for them before he got his big break with ESPN. Tremendous dude. Go support his work. So he did the interview, and TK was very, how should we put this? Non-committal, non-committal with a lot of answers, or beat around the bush with a lot of answers. Essentially, he was non-committal or just beat around the bush. So Helwani came out at one point. Afterwards, I don't know if it was the next day or whatever, but on his show, the MMA Hour, he came out and said. And I'm showing a graphic that says this too on the YouTube side, but I'll read it. On the MMA Hour, Ariel Helwani said that his interview with Tony Khan was one of the most frustrating ones of his career because Tony didn't want to answer anything, and also said that WWE is infinitely better than AEW right now. Ariel also said that if you think AEW is better than WWE right now, you're a liar. He also said that the AEW supermarks are freakazoids who get extremely mad if someone says something slightly negative about AEW or something pro WWE, and they need to take a breather. Which then was followed up with tweets
proving his point.
Right. So Ariel Helwani posted two tweet thread that said the following, quote, "You AEW freakazoids are nuts. You're all mad that I said I didn't enjoy one interview yet for the past year, and every time I talk wrestling, I have praised the product, said WWE was stale, blah, blah, blah. Said it on Simmons' pod in July." That's Bill Simmons, by the way. Yeah. And he also said it on my show 100 times. Look it up and chill out. If me saying the interview wasn't enjoyable offends you because you liked it, thanks. I appreciate it. If you want to defend the non-answers, most of which had nothing to do with legal stuff, but alas, fine. Who cares? Not sure why you're so mad and comparing this and that.
Yeah, and I actually watched like one of the clips where he like went back because it's like they're like, "Oh, well, you kept asking stuff about the CM Punk thing, which you couldn't answer because of legal stuff." And he's like, "I covered that for maybe 45 seconds, and it was an hour-long interview." He said a lot of the time I asked Tony stuff, I was like, "Well, how did you feel about this? And how did you feel about this?" And Tony was just completely standoffish. It wasn't about factual stuff. It wasn't about stuff that was being handled in legal matter. It was about how Tony's opinion of stuff, and Tony refused to answer.
Let's call a spade at this point. All right. We've gotten to a point where if you're not willing to wax Tony's carrot or the carrots of the guys he cares about most, like Jericho and the sort, he's not going to be the most straightforward guy in the world with you for an interview.
Right.
Let's just be frank with that. That's the easiest way to surmise it, is TK only gives a fuck about those who give a little in return, be the best way to put it. And now there's something interesting happening. So Dynamite is live this Tuesday from Cincinnati. Where we're getting the Moxley Hangman title.
Yep.
Where Rampage is going to be Friday.
No, where?
Before event there for 2022. So where would they ever book multiple times over the course of a year?
Chicago.
No. Think about their other home city.
Jacksonville?
Yes.
Okay.
Guess what's going on the day before that in Jacksonville?
I have no clue.
From AEW's Twitter account about an hour ago, there will be a free meet and greet opportunity in Jacksonville. Would you like to guess who it's with?
John Moxley.
There's a free meet and greet opportunity in Jacksonville with AEW President, CEO, and GM Tony Khan. This Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Tickets can be purchased at the Daily's Place box office. AEW Rampage ticket is required.
Who gives a fuck?
Oh, man.
That's like if I offered a meet and greet for fucking people to fucking one of our shows. Like, no one cares.
But you gotta buy a ticket to the show in order to get to the meet and greet.
Yeah, so it's a free meet and greet, but you gotta buy a ticket to get to the free. Oh my god.
Well, it's not a free meet and greet.
Exactly.
To the show next night.
It is a bonus meet and greet. It is not free.
Fuck. Oh, man. Jesus.
Oh my god. So that's the selling. And you know what that means? That means that they haven't sold fucking tickets for Daily's Place.
Which is sad, because it's their home.
Well, it's because even the tail end of Daily, like when they were still running in Daily's before they went on the road again, they weren't filling Daily's Place.
I know.
But good luck telling the fucking goblins that. They just don't want to fucking and that's the thing is all these Rampage showings coming up where they're shooting Rampage as a separate show are not selling well still. Like, I'm waiting for the Mohegan show because that's going to be embarrassing.
What's going to be more embarrassing, that or Atlantic City?
Where are they doing it in Atlantic? Are they doing
Boardwalk Hall?
Boardwalk Hall. I think Mohegan's going to be more embarrassing.
Because Boardwalk Hall, I think, is slightly smaller, isn't it?
Yeah. But the thing is, they've run in Boardwalk Hall before. See, this is the thing. Not only is it their first foray into running at Mohegan, but it's also
you get Rampage. To meet VIPs. Yeah, true.
It's
Rampage.
Rampage.
How casino VIPs operate.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the thing is, like, that arena is set up for large events. Like,
I know.
They run Raw there for a reason. You are going to look like it's going to be like those comparisons of those UWF shows that ran in fucking places where like fucking Crockett would sell out the place and UWF runs there and there's like 400 people.
I know.
It's going to be sad. It's going to be real fucking sad.
I'll give you another comparison for Mohegan. There's a reason why they have a pro women's basketball team in that arena.
Yeah.
It doesn't just seat 2,000 people. It seats like, what, 10 to 15 maybe?
Mohegan Arena, I believe, is 12,000.
Yeah.
Let me double check here.
Right in the median of what I was thinking.
Let's double check here.
Go ahead, take a look.
Mohegan Sun Arena capacity. Oh, 10,000. 10,000 flat.
Okay, on the low side of what I was thinking.
Right, and literally including StubHub tickets that have been bought, but like including tickets that have been bought by StubHub, SeatGeek, yada yada. They've only sold 1,800 tickets so far to that.
And that probably doesn't include what they gave away already.
Right. Well, the thing is for high rollers at Mohegan, it's usually the first 2 to 5 rows.
Right.
And they'll probably position it to that'll be the first 2 to 5 rows on hard cam side. Because I mean, they may offer like front row ringside all around, but maybe only the front row on the two sides. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be real fucking bad. And like the radio ain't giving away tickets for that. Like every time WWE comes around, Clear Channel's giving out tickets. I know, because that's my hookup. But they ain't listen, that's where my hookup is. So I can't poo-poo them on this.
I actually have no problem with Clear Channel because They're the only ones that are saying "fuck you" to iHeartRadio. That's not a local brand, so
Yeah.
Anyways, real quick before we dip into WWE, just want to tell you about our friends over at Mohawk Honda. Temperatures are dropping, leaves are changing, but what never changes is the customer service you can get, high quality customer service you can get over at Mohawk Honda. The 2023s are starting to fly onto their lot. Pilots, Ridgelines, Passports, Civics, CRVs coming on the lot. But it's still a tremendous time for you more than ever before to sell your vehicle. Because like they have all year, going back to their Kelly Blue Book instant cash offers, they are buying cars, and in some cases, you may be able to sell your vehicle for more than you paid for it, which is just another advantage of dealing with the number one volume dealer in the capital region. Go visit any of the great sales consultants with the team over there, including General Manager Greg Johnson. And hey, while you're there, also talk to our boy Scott Moynihan. He brought his 30-plus years of service back to Mohawk Honda, so stop in, say hi to Scott. Welcome him back to the Mohawk Honda family, and get yourself the vehicle that works for your budget, your lifestyle. Only the way they can do it over Mohawk Honda, Freeman's Bridge Road in Scotia, where they always go out of their way to please you. Now, moving on to WWE, let's begin with Monday Night Raw. Let's just be honest with it. Between the cold open at the very beginning and the way they closed the show, let's just say it. This has to be the last time they're doing this DX shit.
Probably.
Just done. Like, no more.
No, I think that's Hunter saying no more too. I don't think it's like, okay, that's it. Baby goes to sleep. Like we've squoze this as much. I think Hunter's like, you know something, it's done.
Right. Agreed. You've squeezed that cash cow for all of its milk, and to the point where now you're squeezing out powder. It's done. Done over with. You can still get shirts and merch.
Right. You can sell the merch.
As actual appearances, no.
Right.
Like,
they I mean, they got a couple of good funny backstage vignettes out of it. I'll give them that. I honestly think that Waltman deserves a solo induction into the Hall of Fame because he doesn't have one and he deserves it.
Interesting. Okay.
And if he does, he would be the only 3-time Hall of Famer.
Okay. For now,
but I mean, think about it. Who else is ever going to get to that standpoint?
If they decide to induct Evolution as a group,
that's the only other one. If they induct Evolution, then Flair would be a 3-time,
and then Triple H would be a 3-timer when they do him individually eventually.
Right.
Still stupid, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah, just it's done. It's over. Then we got to the real open of this show with Bloodline.
Oh, back it up 1 second before we get to that.
Yeah,
so too many wannabe fucking dirt sheets trying to say they were throwing shade at AEW in that opening segment.
For what?
Because of the part where they go running off to Frolic and Trips yells at him and goes, "Hey, no fighting."
Fuck off.
Exactly. Thank you. I had to sit there going, tell me where in that segment did they mention the words Dynamite, Elite, fucking Khan, Punk, any of it? Nothing. Nothing was fucking said, but all these motherfuckers are like, they're throwing shade at AEW, blah, 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 blah. No, they fucking didn't at all.
He's basically just saying that they're children and they shouldn't be fighting.
Exactly.
Anyways, so Bloodline does the actual opening segment. Roman's about to scold Jay, and Sammy decides, you know what? I got this. Because technically, Roman assigned Jay as Sammy's problem since the previous week's SmackDown. So Sammy's like, I got this. Then Riddle interrupts. Roman says no to facing Riddle again, but then Sammy steps up and says, I got this too. No big deal. Sure, whatever. Gargano beats Theory. I'm hoping this isn't just a one-off because...
No. Did you see the word of what the plan might be for Crown Jewel?
Go ahead.
Theory putting up the briefcase in a 3-way against Gargano and KO.
I've never been a fan of doing that, but
then but in all honesty, that could be a good thing because that could be the spot and it's just too many people that keep bitching about Austin Theory's being buried, blah, 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 blah. This has been the case with the briefcase owner. They need to not be on this massive hot win streak. So when they do the cash in, it's more of a fucking grab. Theory is on TV and he's having solid matches. He's not getting crushed in 10 seconds every fucking week.
Right.
And he's not written off. Like, so if you put him in this match and then he goes over, that catapults him back up. Because I mean, they could put the briefcase on Owens in that matter, but I wouldn't do it. And Gargano, I love Johnny, but it's way too early to try something like that.
Listen, folks, Austin Theory is not getting the Baron Corbin treatment. Relax.
Right.
That's all I need to say about that.
I mean, he might eventually lose. He might eventually lose on the cash in. He might.
Right.
But the ride until then, people need to shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Then we get Ray against Chad Gable. Rhea and Dom come to ringside. Ray still gets the win.
Fucking blanket.
Dom taunts Ray to hit him. It slaps Ray. Ray then fights off Priest and Finn until Dom clotheslines him, hits the 619. Ray is dejected and leaves. Then after the break, Judgment Day cut an in-ring promo.
Are you like jiggling keys or something?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I was just trying to make sure it wasn't something on my end.
No, it's me. Then AJ interrupts the promo once Finn says his name. AJ references family, hugs Finn. Finn thinks he's talking about him, but no. Gallows and Anderson show up, and we get a 6-man brawl. Judgment Day retreats. That's your segment. I know.
They better be on a 6-month contract. That's all I'm fucking saying.
Do you really expect them to be long term? Probably not.
No, but in all honesty, and like I know Trips only did it because there's someone they could bring in who they could be mechanics for a couple of fucking tag teams in a time of need where they're rebuilding a tag division, and that they have some name recognition where they can sell some merch alongside AJ. But besides, there is nothing in them. Nobody fucking wants Gallows and Anderson. Nobody. No
shit. We've already said that.
Right. And everybody who's going nuts because Anderson is still the never open weight champion you can tell that they just fucking found that little fucking snippet without actually ever having watched New Japan. Because the never open weight and the never tag 6-man belts are for people who are not currently under contract in New Japan.
Right.
So that's why he's still, apparently New Japan said he's still working a couple of dates up until and including Wrestle Kingdom. So there. Because everyone's like, boo-boo, contract tampering. No, it's not. He's not under contract. The only thing I could see out of this is if they do decide to go this way and they do hold on to them and they fucking want to work out with fucking New Japan a little bit of shit, is okay, do this shit with the club and fucking Judgment Day for whatever you fucking want. But while you're over there in New Japan and while you're talking to some people, why didn't you bring over these other fucking guys that you can have feud with fucking either the OC or with the Bloodline eventually? Just a couple of these guys come on over here because New Japan's not going to pull the trigger on them. So you call up this older gentleman that you've employed before and his sons, and just have them get on a plane and come on over. Just a little bit.
You're just begging for God to show up.
Fuck yes. They're not going to pull the trigger on giving Tama Tonga a fucking singles run with the title. Fuck it. This Bullet Club shit is fucking old and fucking stale. Bring them over. Give me the fucking God versus the Usos. Give me fucking Tama and give me fucking Tama and fucking and fucking Tagaloa and fucking Huki Lao and fucking Haku against fucking Roman and the Usos and fucking Solo. Give me that shit.
I'm not saying I wouldn't like it. I'm just
Tama planted these seeds fucking 6 fucking years ago. All those promos he was cutting where he was just like, this is your yard? Yeah, you got a yard. I rule the fucking world.
who knows? Who knows? You have a lot of wishful thinking in those ears.
Yes, I do. But Trips is someone who would actually do it.
Then we get a Bailey pre-tape interview with Byron, because Byron's just a fucking cutting-edge journalist. Dakota and Io, though, they take over and provide all the answers for the short interview, and sure. Then Roman leaves with Heyman and Solo, tells Jay to hang back and make sure Sammy wins. Okay. And Candice beats Bailey with a counter to the Rose Plant, but then gets jumped by Dakota and Io. Bianca
Definitely more seeds for War Games.
Then Bianca tries to help and fails. Then we got Miz walking up to talk to Maurice backstage with a QR code in the back of a staffer's hoodie.
Yep.
They're still doing that shit, apparently.
Hell yeah.
She gives Miz a wooden baseball bat. Sure. Then we get the actual birthday celebration in the next segment. He unwraps a pair of big red bouncy balls. Not quite hippity hops like you've seen before, but big rubber balls.
No, they're just massive balls.
Massive balls. Then Miz picks a gift to open from the table, lifts the box, and there's Dexter's head in it. Like, sure, yeah. Miz destroys the gifts on the table, but Dexter's gone when he flips it over. Then Dexter, he ends up in the ring trying to choke out Miz. Miz escapes. Maurice leaves after botching the fuck out of the cake spot.
Out of the cake face plant, yeah.
Jesus. And then Dexter pops the big red balls with a cake knife and cuts himself a slice of cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least after that, we finally get we get the vignette where Miz and Dexter will have the match, and either Dexter's here to stay or Dexter goes away.
Correct, which I believe comes up
tonight.
Oh, that was actually next, because then they had HBK, Waltman, and Dog talking to the two guys who are about to do the job to Omos, trying to pump them up.
Yeah. One of them was Chico Adams from New York.
Yes.
I don't know what the other one was.
It's funny because I think they got called Joey and Robert when they were introduced, and then I think Graves let it slip that Robert was actually Chico.
Yeah,
I'm like, Jesus fuck Corey.
Yeah.
But anyways, after they were talking to the jobbers, Miz and Maurice interrupted. Dog then said, "Fuck it, I'm making a match next week. I think I can do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I just did it."
I mean, technically, yeah.
He makes a match between Miz and Dexter, where Dexter is gone if he loses, but if he wins, he gets a contract. Sure. Then we get Omos crushing the two jobbers. Come back with Omos later. Then we get a playback of Bray's return at the end of Extreme Rules. Then we get what nobody wants, except the Saudi Prince, apparently. Lashley comes out for his title defense against Seth, but before Seth gets introduced, Brock Lesnar. He says good evening to Brooklyn, good evening to Bobby, and then F5 German, F5 Kimura. Go to break. Seth comes out after the break. Goats Lashley to still defend the U.S. title, although he's clearly hurt. And Seth becomes the new U.S. champ.
And you know something? I understood the execution. The actual match went too long. It should have been two moves. It should have been 2 moves and pin.
Right. Very much like a cash-in almost.
Exactly.
Well, most cash-ins.
Exactly. Like it didn't need the extra, like they were still trying to make Lashley look like Superman. And I'm like, no, you don't need to. He's been assaulted. It's okay.
Right.
But I mean, the only advantage that we have out of this is, okay, yes, we're getting the Brock Lashley rematch. The only advantage is there's no title attached to it. This is the first time Brock's been in a match without a title attached to it since he first came back in that match against Cena in 2016.
Oh, so...
That's how long it's been. After that, every single match Brock has had a championship implication.
Did he have one match with Cena or 2? I'm trying to remember.
Maybe 2? No, just the one.
Okay.
Or okay, sorry. No, maybe, sorry. There might, I think, no. So the match he had with Orton at that SummerSlam didn't have a title attached to it.
Okay.
But after that, every match had to be part of the championship program.
Right. That's when he hard-way the shit out of Orton.
Right.
Remember that.
So this is the first, but so still, this is the first time in over 5 years that Brock has been in a match that doesn't have a fucking belt attached to it or a stipulation about a belt attached to it.
Good.
You know how fucking that. So you know something. Go ahead. I can just fast forward through that match. Like obviously, like they needed a marquee match for fucking Crown Jewel because they know that a lot of people aren't buying Brock versus Logan. Roman versus Logan. So we get the Brock Lashley rematch. Yay. And it would have sucked if the US title was part of that. Because then the US title would have gotten relegated to the same thing it was when Brock was the fucking heavyweight champion. And it's like, it's never there. Yay, fuck this. So fine, let Seth be the fucking heel champion to fucking carry the brand. I'm cool with it.
And then to wrap all that up, Lashley was backstage with Byron and basically said he's going to kick Brock's ass next time he sees him. Sure. Then we get, I think that was another Bray thing. Revel in what you are. This is the note.
Yes.
I have. Yes. Another Bray thing.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just checking something.
Yeah.
All right. Then we get Elias returning this week.
That's right. They needed time to grow back his beard.
Yeah.
But so you know what this means? This means that Elias is going to come back as a heel to get revenge on KO because KO is a babyface now.
Oh, can we just end this shit?
Not yet.
Then they announced Bray is going to be at SmackDown Friday in New Orleans. Well, this past Friday. We'll get to that.
Yep.
Then Riddle beats Sami Zayn because Jay says, he's got it, bro. You don't need me. He's got it.
Yeah.
And then we close the show with the DX reunion.
Which was just catchphrases and crowd cheers and yay.
Basically.
And the thing, like, so people complain, they're like, they should have had someone come out and beat him down. Why? Like, that happens all the time with these Legends reunions. So just leave it alone. Let him, this was their, in all honesty, this was the curtain call. This was them saying bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
Because Trips is in the back full time. Sean's booking NXT for better or for worse. Dog is an agent. I'm sure Waltman's going to get an agent job or a producer job out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like, that's it. We go out there, we wear our little hat, and bye-bye.
Okay, Tom Hanks from League of Their Own.
Exactly.
I go out
there,
it's
done.
Wear my little hat, and I did that. So what do I get paid?
Exactly.
Anyways, moving on to NXT. Braun wins over Javi, Hot Bod Javi.
Big Body Javi.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
There was a note that I had when watching that because like he just seems because Javier Bernal just seems so worthless already. Shit. You know what Javier Bernal is?
Who?
He's Kona Reeves.
Yeah, okay.
Just worthless.
Yeah.
Worthless, trying to act like there's something.
Yep.
Kona Reeves.
Then McDonough gets in the ring after doing commentary for the match. Then Ilya joins in, accidentally hits Braun with the running headbutt thingy he does.
Yeah.
That comes back later on.
Uh-huh.
Alba Fire pre-tape about Toxic Attraction. Frazier beats Axiom, and now he's in the North American title ladder match.
So that was a solid match. Definitely, smart doing that quick finish, because it still leaves it up in the air. I honestly thought this match would have gone to a time limit draw, and then both of them ended up in the ladder match.
So you have a 6-man instead of a 5-man.
Yeah. But I mean, it's it was all right. Axiom's definitely coming into his own as a character, outside of being a kid. And I think they just lift it like this so they could revisit it if something happens, like Frazier actually winning the North American title.
I agree. Then we got Ilya, who's in the parking lot being interviewed by Mackenzie. Seems like he's leaving. Waller interrupts and convinces Ilya not to leave. And then they face each other later in the night.
Why are you wearing your grandmother's sunglasses? That was a good line out of that.
That was good. Then we got a vignette for Apollo. Then we got Indy Hartwell against Valentina Feroz, and Sanga's ringside for Valentina. Then Veer Mahan walks out and whispers something lovingly into the ear of Sanga, and Sanga decides to leave ringside in the middle of the match. Sure.
I mean, there was no reason for Sanga to be out there anyways, other than because she asked him to be there.
Right.
But, so is Indy a heel now?
I mean, we were kind of thinking she joined Damage Control, so maybe.
Oh, were we thinking that?
I mean, wasn't that one of the options we put out there for building war games?
No, I put out Indy as an option of coming up with Dexter so we could do It Couple versus Index.
Well, yeah, but I think one of us also mentioned it being a potential for her to join Damage Control for the War Games match.
Nah.
Okay.
I wouldn't put her in there. You know what they should do is they should fucking Trips if Trips is going around righting these wrongs, bring back Persia Parada.
Okay.
Put them back together.
Fair. Then we get Pretty Deadly cutting a promo on the Perch, whatever the fuck that's called.
Crow's Nest.
I don't fucking know what it is.
Crow's Nest.
Sure. And then we have the tag title contenders match later on, which we'll get to in a second. Cora Jade was backstage with Mackenzie. They were talking about the whole Roxanne going to SmackDown thing, and Cora Jade's like, fuck this.
Because they're going to pick your poison, basically.
Right. Then I get Bladen and No Fate beating the Dyad and Briggs and Jensen to become number one contenders to the tag titles.
That was different.
Grimes inserted himself behind the referee's back, costing the Dyad the match.
It was. I don't know if Bladen and No Fate are ready for that spot quite yet. I mean, they've definitely been improving. They need some. They're not one of the belts. They need something more. They need matching gear and they need a team name. But I mean, honestly, in No Fate, I see a ton of potential in. Blade he's slightly growing on me. He's better now than he was. He's not Leon Ruff status anymore.
Right. I agree. Then we get JC and Gigi backstage with Mackenzie before Alba Fire beats JC Jane. And then as Alba's leaving, Sonya Deville's in the crowd and comes out and beats up Alba Fire after the match. Then
so it's going to be fire versus fire. Because Sonya was the fire and desire.
Anyways.
You got to fight fire with fire.
Yeah, sure. Then we get Schism with a parking lot promo on Grimes.
After they kicked the cameraman in the dick.
Yeah, in the dick. Then we got Zoe Nikita with a pre-tape. Then Hank and Quincy hanging out with security because fuck it, why not? Wesley beats Stacks, but then gets jumped by Carmelo and Trick. Then Oro Mensah comes out to even up the odds and clear out Mello and Trick and Stacks.
Wesley has gotten in tremendous shape.
He's been in tremendous shape.
He was in good shape before, but now he's seriously cut. And in all honesty,
do?
True, but you know something? If this attempt to keep him as a singles guy right now doesn't work out. Putting him and Oro Mensa together could be good.
Could be. They seem like they could vibe with each other. I could see that.
Yeah.
Then we get Sonya with a backstage interview with Mackenzie, which basically set up Sonya Deville versus Alba Fire this week on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And we get the Creeds and Ivy. Jesus Christ, this made me want to puke. The Creeds and Ivy Nile visiting Roddy at the hospital. Win one for
Terrible.
Roddy. Fuck off.
Win one for the Gipper.
Yeah, basically. Then we get Robert Stone interrupting the start of the Tia Hale Kiana James match. Stone ends up getting back body dropped by Tia and then kicked out of the ring. But then Kiana hits the finisher on Thea and wins. So basically, it's a 90-second segment. Sure. Then Stax is backstage and Tony D walks in with his crutch. And yeah, he says,
injured.
You're going to fight somebody that I fucking deem should be facing you. Whatever the fuck that means. Then we get Stone and Von Wagner backstage, basically saying Von basically saying you're not going to fuck up my shot at the title.
Stone trying to be MJF. Terrible.
Then we get Grimes backstage with Mackenzie talking about Schism, the 6-man tag, and he's got female not enough friends here, but he's got friends in other places. Basically, yeah. Then we have a night with Ilya beating Waller, but then Braun comes out and spears Ilya at the end of the night to make up for the shit that happened at the start of the show.
Yeah.
Now for the part that I don't think is going to make you happy.
Okay.
There were 2 people backstage at house shows over the weekend in Florida for NXT. Would you like to know those 2 names, sir?
Sure.
One I think you're going to be okay with. Mm-hmm. Not thrilled, but you'll be okay with.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Anthony Green.
He's been skulking around, and basically he was there as a favorite of Biff. I know that.
Would you like to know the other name?
No clue.
Take a wild guess. I'll give you a hint. He's been a product of my ridicule a lot lately.
Bobby Fish. Nothing's going to come of that. Bobby Fish is kissing ass to try to get a coaching job there because he knows he's not going to ever be on the main roster.
No! You don't say. Fucking Bobby Fish.
And honestly, Anthony Green was probably there also just to talk to Gabe because Gabe has been put back in the role of scouting indie talent. And Green is basically like one of Drew Cordero's best buddies. So like if you want to go look for indie guys that go work for nothing thinking they'll get exposure, they fucking show up for fucking Beyond and for fucking Wrestling Open, which Green is always at. So I'm guessing that was that.
And before we get to SmackDown, two other things quick. One, Vincent and Dutch were backstage Raw last week.
Yeah. So hold on.
Vinny Marsalia. What's happening, bud?
So Bill Carr,
wasn't the system at one point a while ago.
Oh yeah, he was under when Dusty was still running it.
Correct.
Because that was actually when he was originally Dutch.
Yes.
That was his name. That was his name in Florida Championship.
Correct.
And I remember hearing from Bill Carr about the time Dusty had to release him, and they would sit there. He's like, "You're gonna do a lot in this world, baby. It's just you're not gonna be doing a lot here." And he like tried to let him down the easiest way possible. And the thing is, Bill has grown a lot in character development since back then, but that was 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bill's not a spring chicken. I love Bill Carr, but he's not a spring chicken. Vinny, I think they might have just. I don't know. I don't see them being signed. I could see them doing some stuff like helping out down at the PC, maybe working some spot shows. I don't see them getting signed.
Aren't they also friends with Biff as well?
Not so much.
No? Okay.
No, because Vinny was a mask guy And Vinny was part of the mass group that weren't taken seriously for a while because there was a long time Vinny Marsalia was the punchline to a lot of jokes in this area for a long time before Vinny actually became who he is now. Because Vinny was the guy that used to wrestle under the name Nero because he wanted to be Jeff Hardy, and he literally got all of Randy Orton's original tattoos. Like they're all covered up now, but he had the original couple of Randy Orton tattoos and would work like Orton, doing the side backbreaker and the RKO and the overdrive and all that shit. Like he was the brunt of a lot of jokes. But Vinny obviously matured, but it's, I mean, and that was back in 09. So it's 13 years later. Like if Vinny would have been signed, the ship sailed.
Okay.
Then it's nothing against either guy. Like it's, but I don't see them fitting into the mold right now.
And then there was the guy that had rumored interest in him. Not so sure about that anymore after what he did on Friday. Would you like to address that at all?
Oh, how Meltzer said Matt Taven was going to get signed, and then he showed up on Rampage?
Mm-hmm.
Literally, so it happened. It aired on Friday, but literally he said Taven was getting signed on Tuesday, and then they taped Rampage on Wednesday, and they're like fucking. I remember I was like, remember the whole 4 days ago when Meltzer said WWE was signing him? Good times.
Yeah, we never said Meltzer was the brightest bulb in the box. So, SmackDown. I
had a prior engagement Friday night, so the only part of SmackDown I saw was the Bray promo at the end. So I know some stuff that happened, but I'm gonna need a refresher.
So they did a cold open for SmackDown where they showed Scarlett and Cross apparently in a car accident backing out in the parking lot.
That's right, old school Memphis style. Like, you know something? I'm for this because it keeps Cross out of the ring and it keeps an allure around him to keep him as an attraction.
So you know about Drew jumping him?
I just know they said he was in a car accident.
Oh, Drew jumped him in the parking lot while. So Cross. All right. So Cross and Scarlett were in a car accident.
Yeah.
Cross was selling it, standing outside the car.
Yeah.
And then here comes Drew running from the arena out into the parking lot, and he jumps Cross at the crash site. And then officials force Drew off.
Right. But so this will keep Cross away from the ring while he's rehabbing the car injuries. So that way the next Drew Cross match.
Survivor Series.
Right, exactly. They can hold it off past Crown Jewel and hold it off until the end of November. That's what I'm saying. It keeps Cross as an attraction. In the
Saudi Prince don't need that shit.
Instead of giving him squash matches for the next 8 weeks until the rematch with Drew.
Then we get to the official opening of the show. Sammy tells Solo to hang back as Jay's going to come ringside. And Sammy ends up beating Kofi with the assist from Jay. And it almost seems like Jay and Sammy are now kind of getting on the same page a little bit, maybe.
For now?
He does some shit. Then we go backstage. Rey Mysterio tells Hunter that he quits. Hunter says he just wants 5 minutes in his office with Ray to find another way, quote unquote, and then go in the office, and that's the end of that segment. We'll get more to that later. Then we get Roxanne, Shotzi, and Raquel backstage in a locker room. Roxanne names Raquel her choice for Cora Jade's opponent this Tuesday on NXT. Then Damage Control interrupts, and Bayley says some shit about Roxanne needing to get into gear. So, obviously, they're wrestling later. Then we get Braun smashing 2 dudes named James Maverick and Brian Thomas. God bless their souls. All while Omos and MVP come to ringside during the match for a better view, and then MVP basically, in so many words, was challenging Braun to face Omos at some point.
Crown
Which
jewel.
means, apparently, by the way, the news is now Omos and MVP have been moved to SmackDown. I don't know how true that is, but that's the conjecture being thrown out there.
Whatever.
Also, well, we'll get to that later. Then we get a backstage segment with Sammy, Jay, and Solo Sikoa, where Jay's trying to be like, "Hey, Solo, did you see what I did out there?" And Solo's like, "I was too busy watching Sammy." Just usual funny shit between the three of them.
Yeah.
Then LA Knight beats Mansoor, cuts a promo. Yeah.
He goes babyface and then heel.
Yes. Then Damage Control beats Roxanne, Raquel, and Shotzi in a 6-woman tag. Kind of botch a little bit at the end with the pinfall from Bayley and Roxanne, but all in all, Roxanne put on a good show, I thought.
Apparently, they're already talking about bringing Roxanne up to the main roster after this.
Havoc done.
Yep.
Then we get another Viking Raiders vignette with Sarah Logan. Then we get Joaquin and Cruz del Toro beating Hit Row in tag action. By the way, direct report that came out after our show last week when we had already talked about Zelina Vega being with Legado instead of Elektra Lopez. The apparent reason behind it is they wanted somebody who could actually wrestle beef.
Gee, did I not call it?
That's why Elektra didn't get called up. Which I mean, we knew that,
right? Which is hilarious. How we knew that because it's common sense. But Meltzer sat there and went, "Yeah, no one knows why they switched him." People with a brain knew, Dave.
Yeah. Then we get Sonya Deville in a backstage interview with Kayla. Liv Morgan attacked Sonya after her comments because Sonya was belittling Liv, I guess. Apparently, Liv is just going to do sentons through tables on everyone now.
Ugh.
Because apparently there was just a random table backstage next to the backstage interview area. So beat up Sonya, beat up Sonya, lay her on the table, climb up the rigging attached to the backstage interview set. Senton. Sure. And then we get in the main event match of the show, Ray replaces Cross in the Fatal 4-Way and ends up winning it to become number one contender for the Intercontinental title.
Did I send you that meme this morning?
This morning, let me double check. Hang on, don't go anywhere. No, you sent me a picture.
1 second. I'll send it to you right now.
So basically now it looks like Ray is going to be permanently on Raw from the sounds of it.
You mean SmackDown?
I mean SmackDown, excuse me.
That's the only bad part about this meme.
I had seen that before. So my assumption would be, and I'm sure it's your assumption too, this is just for them to let the Dominic shit breathe and to set up Ray and Dom probably for WrestleMania.
Or get rid of Dom in the interim completely because that kid has been associated with Ray either tagging with or against since he fucking came in, and that kid can't swim on his own. But they're gonna have to fucking do it. And this is basically trips me at like, okay, we've got this kid with the biggest heel group on the fucking brand right now. Let's fucking see if he can actually do shit without his daddy around. And he's gonna fail, and he's gonna get released. Like, there's no money in a Ray versus Dom match. I'm sorry. You know why? Because there's no money in Dominic Mysterio. There never has been.
We know that.
Right. And Trips knows that, but Trips has to go forward and show that there is no money in him.
And then we can send Dom back to Neverland.
Blanket.
Thank you. Then we close the show with Bray making an appearance where it was much more Wyndham Rotunda than it was Bray Wyatt in his promo.
Yes.
So then it gets cut off at the end by the fuzzy TV kind of shit they've been doing with the face of the mask that Bray had worn out at Extreme Rules. So this is the theory I'm going to propose to you. Okay, are you ready for this?
Sure.
Because when this initially happened to end the show, I was a little confused. I'm not going to lie. So I did a lot of thinking,
Okay.
a lot of internal reflection. I came to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Because of how psychotic the mind is of one Wyndham Rotunda,
Mm-hmm.
I believe we are going into a schizophrenic phase of Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that's a given.
We are getting into um like the thing was back in the day, the three faces of Foley.
Right.
You're about to get the six faces of Bray Wyatt.
Which I called.
You're going to get a bunch of split personalities that just come out whenever the fuck they want.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a cross. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be a mixture of the faces of Foley and the loose cannon.
Yeah.
And this is like, so literally the day after the Bray fucking, after the day after Raw, people released all this shit that's bullshit. Number one, Bo Dallas has not been re-signed. Bo Dallas is retired. Just because Bo is dating Liv Morgan and they own a realty company together doesn't mean shit. Bo Dallas is not coming back. And mind you, remember, I sent you the thing and I said, there is no Wyatt 6 fucking stable. I said, this is the sixth inception of Bray Wyatt. And I listed them. And then people are like trying to act like they're waxing philosophical, be like, oh my God, it's going to be 6 different personalities. And everyone represents, like, Huskus the Pig is when he was Husky Harris, and Mercy the Buzzard was when he was. I was like, motherfucker, that's what I just wrote. I called this before all you dumb motherfuckers. This is literally the 6th inception of this character. That's all it is. Because he was using the name Wyatt 6 on Twitter months before he got signed again. Because he knew when he came back, it was going to be the 6th version of himself.
You deserve to sip that Dr. Pepper after saying that. Thank you.
It's fucking insane how people think that people think that they've cracked the code of booking a character. No, the shit was already there. It's like coming along on a 5,000 piece puzzle when there's one piece left going, look, I finished this puzzle in 10 seconds.
Anyways, as far as program is concerned for this week, Raw tonight, Brock will be on the show.
Yay.
Seth Rollins is defending the U.S. title. No announcement on who that's going to be against yet.
Maybe we'll bring back the open challenge.
We already mentioned the Dexter Lumis and Miz match.
Mm-hmm.
Also announced Elias's return.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Gallows and Anderson will face the Alpha Academy in tag action tonight. So that's that. Also, rumor and conjecture, according to PW Insider, that there was talk at SmackDown this past week about JBL being at the next several Raws in some capacity.
Okay.
Including tonight's Raw.
Okay.
Not sure why. Not sure if it's a commentary thing. Not sure if it's to follow up on his suggestion within the last month that he be a manager for Baron Corbin. I don't know.
Maybe he's going to be a backstage agent.
Yeah, could be a number of things. Halloween Havoc is this coming Saturday, as was mentioned before. Real quick, here's the card as of now. Mandy Rose against Alba Fire for the NXT Women's title. Sure. Whatever.
You know something? Since they changed Kaylee Ray over into the new character, she's grown on me a little bit.
Little bit. They haven't booked anything for the women's tag title, so I'm not sure if they're going to do that match at Halloween Havoc or if they're just saving it for a TV. I don't know.
TV.
But it's not on the card.
Or so, no. The ass bitch and Zoe are the fucking contenders.
Yeah, but they haven't announced. I'm not sure if the match is going to be on TV or Halloween Havoc is what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought they had announced it for Halloween Havoc. I guess they haven't.
on the official card. I'll double check. But anyways, next match on the card I see Cruz versus Waller in what's actually a second spin the wheel make the deal match on the card. Although the stipulation has not been picked yet, my assumption is they'll actually spin the wheel at the fucking show for a change.
Or they'll have a ghost spin it like they did on Tuesday.
Right. Then we have. Just double checking by the way, make sure. Yeah, there's no listing of women's tag titles on the show.
All right.
Then we got Julius Creed against Damon Kemp in an ambulance match where Julius loses, Brutus Creed leaves NXT. Roxanne Perez against Cora Jade in their spin the wheel make the deal match, which has been labeled a weapons wild match already.
Yep.
Then we have the 5-way for the vacant NXT North American title: Carmelo, Oro Mensah, Wes Lee, Von Wagner, Nathan Frazier. And then I'm assuming, by the way, that's probably going to open the show because they always seem to do that with the North American ladder matches.
Yeah.
And then the main event will be the triple threat for the NXT title: Braun defending against Ilya and JD. If Ilya doesn't win, we riot. At least that's my opinion. But
the only thing that I can see happening is, and this is like, the writing is there, and I don't understand. Like, I know Sean is a shitty booker, but like the writing is there to do it, unless you plan on putting the North American title back on Carmelo again, which is fine, except Melo needs to be elevated more. Unless you do that, you need to put Melo in there against fucking Braun to have Melo be the guy that takes the title off him. Either that, or you put Melo up on the main roster because the kid's ready.
I know.
Like, there's and Braun Breaker's gonna fucking sink, and he's gonna sink to the fucking bottom when he goes to the main roster eventually because he's just not fucking ready. No matter what anyone says, he's a fucking meathead who cuts fucking incomparable fucking promos, and he doesn't know. He only knows how to work fucking squash matches.
I mean, have you met his family?
But you see, that's the thing. Like, Rick could actually work.
Doing. Yeah.
Scott was hurting people left and right, but Rick could actually work.
Right. I'm just kidding. Two quick reports I had to mention quick, by the way. Number one, Rhea Ripley made her return to in-ring action during house shows over the weekend in mixed tag action.
Good.
So step by step, we're getting there.
Yeah.
To maybe getting the title match she earned and never got.
Right.
Also, Hunter will not be at Raw tonight. Tested positive for COVID.
Oh, fuck. I wonder if he's going to be zooming in.
Possible.
Zooming in on Gorilla.
I would assume depend on how he's feeling.
Yeah.
Because given his condition, I don't know how much that would kick his ass.
I mean, depends if he just stays calm all day and just chill.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Just saying.
Oh, did you see how Briggs and Jensen were brought up for main event?
I did hear about that. Yes.
Yeah. That they might be getting there. I don't know. I think Jensen needs a little bit more polishing. And
they also had Melo do a match with Cedric Alexander, didn't they?
Yes. I think when they eventually bring them up, I think they need a slight bit of repackaging, a little less, like they can keep them as like ass kickers. I would steer a little bit away from the country a little more. And also like just pull the trigger and change the kid's name and call him Brooks Buchanan.
And by the way, Grimes is going to be there tonight for main event tapings.
Right. Because they already have him there to find tag partners for Tuesday.
Report came out late last week. Day one canceled.
Yep.
So there's going to be no premium live event between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble.
I'm all for it.
And there's also discussion of more changes coming to the PLE schedule for 2023, including the potential for disbanding all gimmick-themed shows. And instead going back to just making those matches that the shows were named after being more specialty. Like,
I'm for it.
So like no more Hell in a Cell, no more
Extreme Rules,
TLC, no more Money in the Bank.
I don't know if they're going to get rid of Money in the Bank.
I think Money in the Bank is a stretch, but so yeah, no Hell in a Cell, no Extreme Rules, no TLC.
Right.
I wonder if they'll do that with Elimination Chamber as well.
No, because the last couple of years they haven't been naming the pay-per-view Elimination Chamber. They've just been putting a chamber match on the show.
So, I don't mind that. I actually prefer that, to be quite honest. So, I'm cool with those changes if they end up pulling the trigger on those.
Right. And apparently they also want to look at, because how well Clash at the Castle did, they want to do more international PLEs.
Right.
Like besides Saudi, like obviously go back to the UK, but actually try doing ones in like a different part of Europe or like maybe even Japan. Like, see how it goes.
Right.
I mean, they did well. Like, it's been a while, but remember back when they did Beast in the East, and it was like it was basically like
the Japan show, right?
It was a Japan show that was mostly main roster shit, except for they threw on the NXT title match with Balor and Owens.
Finn and yes.
Like they obviously can do well in Japan. I think if they tried something like that.
Yeah. One more WWE related note before we get to the final, at least one final thing I know you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Jimmy Smith.
Yeah.
This past week took a shot at the entire WWE roster on his MMA on Sirius XM show, saying, quote, "The WWE behind the scenes is more CM Punk than Brock Lesnar. Does this guy look like he can fight? That is what the WWE is about. Roman Reigns can't fight. He looks like he can fight. He's just a big muscular dude. Daniel Cormier does not look like he can fight. You put Cormier next to Brock Lesnar and it looks like a man and a kid, and WWE is all about that stuff."
Associated with this, Jimmy Smith has a new Ben & Jerry's flavor coming out. It's called Sour Grapes.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to put it as.
Could have left well alone enough, dude.
Yep. Bridge burnt officially.
Yep.
So
before we go ahead.
No, go. Say what
so before the bit that we were going to go over, I had a thought, like I had a flashback. The whole thing with Pac and Cassidy and the Atlantic title.
The Every Ocean is the Atlantic Ocean.
Every Ocean is the Atlantic, the ANP title. It just goes to like, because everyone's like, it's they gave the mascot a title and everything, and something, it's dumb. But at the same time, in a company where everyone has a fucking title, it really doesn't fucking matter. And it got me to think of it, especially because of the fact that Tony Khan just keeps introducing belts whenever the fuck he wants. And it just like, I came up with a comparison of sitting there. I went, wow, the All Atlantic title is the RPW Caribbean Championship.
You're an ass. Jesus Christ.
So for those who are not familiar, one of the companies that myself and Brian originally worked for was Revival Pro Wrestling. This was a company where a lot of kowtowing was done with Kevin Landry's Pro Wrestling Combine, the school that he has in Massachusetts. Basically, it was, we give a whole lot to using his students and featuring them and everything, and we got the ring for free out of it.
By the way, I never did anything with RPW.
You didn't?
I might have helped with one show. Because here's the thing. So I was helping with NEFW. Eric passes away. It becomes RPW.
No. It became RPW when Camaro split from him.
Oh, right.
That's when you were there. Yeah.
I was only there for one show when it was under the RPW banner.
Really? I thought you were. I thought you would come in. Wow. Okay.
It was the show where. Okay, I remember it. It was the show where. So, I think I'm setting this up correctly. I could be wrong. So basically, it was the show before they did the event where they had fucking Mancini and Envy do the boxing match.
Okay.
It was the show to set that up.
Okay, so it was the Christmas show.
Yeah.
With the War Games match.
Yes.
Yes.
So um, they had already changed direction at that point because I had already been shit. I have
So actually, it was still NEFW at that point. So you were actually weren't around for after the changeover when Camaro and Brian, when Camaro and Eric officially parted ways.
no.
Wow. Oh shit! I didn't even realize
Because
that.
what happened was by that point, if I remember correctly, they basically were putting um Randy Guerrero, I want to say was the name. They were making him the GM character.
He didn't even get made the GM, but he became one of the fucking bookers, which was fucking ass in an ass basket.
But does this sound incorrect though? What I'm laying out?
Yes, yes.
And so they did this segment with Envy and Mancini,
Yep.
and then for whatever reason, I came out during the segment. I don't remember what it was. Um, I just remember that at the end of the segment, I was trying to hold off Envy from Mancini, and Envy punched me. That's the only thing I remember really
Yeah.
that
During
stood
that
out
whole
from the
set.
segment.
Yeah, during all that. Because that was when it was supposed to be the big, like, we're going to get so much more viewers because Mancini does the celebrity boxing bullshit and Envy was still doing the reality TV shit.
And they put
So,
that what? Didn't they put that in like what was it? Springfield?
yes.
It was like the Elks Lodge or some
Knights,
shit.
Knights of Columbus.
Yeah.
That was the show I went back to commentary because
I'm actually
I had
I'm
turned on
actually
my stable.
I'm actually still have yeah, I think I still have a picture from that show from the end of the night because that was basically the show. I think it was technically the story was I was on the way out, Randy was on the way in as the GM.
Yeah, which
Um,
Randy never became the GM, but Randy sure as
yeah,
hell fucking
don't
kept
don't
putting in
fucking
his god awful ideas.
yeah, don't fucking tell me about it. I'm trying to remember. I know I'm
Well,
pretty
no,
sure
because
I have.
Randy edged me out, which was the fucked up thing.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I know I still have. Hang on, I'm gonna try to find it real quick. But
But anyways,
well,
so
hell with
so
the story about
yeah.
the title.
So anyways, what had happened was before the company had changed names, it was basically like this was a company where, well, first off, we did a brand split because originally it was supposed to be NEFW ran in Mass and NEFW Revolution ran in Connecticut.
Correct.
And that was why the Waterbury show, we actually had the tournament and we crowned Bobby Ocean as the NEFW Revolution champion. And that was supposed to be, that title was only supposed to be defended in Connecticut. Fast forward to 2 months later, it's getting defended on that show in Springfield for no reason with no build. So, because Eric and me is booking over using my ideas. But anyways, this was a company where like all there were there we had too many titles because what we had the heavyweight title, we had the US title, which was basically featured more than the heavyweight title because that was one that JT Dunn held. That was basically the Indie Darling title is what I like to call it because it was JT Dunn versus whatever Indie Darling we brought in to face him. There was the No Limits title, which was the Spot Monkey title, which never had any rhyme nor reason to it because literally we had a whole bunch of matches of the No Limits division. But then when we actually had the match for the title, it featured 3 guys, 2 of which had never actually appeared in NEFW before, but were getting a shot at this newly made title. Because that makes sense.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna have to slightly correct myself because I don't know where this is from.
Okay.
So I just found 2 pictures of myself from the show after. So the show that we were just discussing, the Mancini stuff and shit.
Uh-huh.
That was December 2013. It was the Christmas show.
Yep. And
Okay.
then the
So I
KFC
was
was
right about that
January
segment.
2014. Yep.
I was correct about that segment. But I did make one appearance in an RPW show apparently. I'm trying to get this photo to save because I really need you to see this fucking photo. Actually, no, I'm gonna take a picture of it with my phone and hold up to the screen so you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're gonna see a lot of interesting stuff in this picture. Are you ready for this?
He has them.
Okay. So you see the RPW logo in here in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's your best friend referee. Then that's me right there in the blazer with the microphone pointing and yelling.
Right.
I don't know. The thing is, I can't remember this segment specifically. Oh, I think I remember what it was. I'll tell you in a second what it was. There's Fenrir's Fortune.
Yep.
There's oh god, I keep forgetting his name. The ring announcer.
GK?
Not yes, Durant.
Yep. Yep.
But take a notice from Patty Mac's picture here. Look real close.
Is that Miz? No.
So some chick had been knocked out in the ring at some point during this segment, and Patty's picture angle, bless her soul, you can clearly see the panties poking out of the pants on this chick. Take a look. See that?
Yep.
Oh, God bless Patty. But now I remember the segment for that show.
Yep.
I think it was when I don't know if this was actually the angle. I think it was Randy was going rogue.
Yeah, some shit like that.
And like, because it was him, because I want to say Randy was in the role, and then he had an assistant that was a female.
Yes.
I want to say he knocked out the female, and that caused me to come out as the former GM. And
because the chick was Davian.
Oh, for real?
And Envy was supposed to give her a Canadian destroyer, and he didn't pick her up, so he just fucking dropped her.
That's right. Oh shit, that
was Davian. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that was Davian though.
Yeah. That was when she was first starting. Girls come a long way.
Wow, that was August of 2014, apparently.
Yes. Yep. Because that was when Envy was Envy was feuding for trying to get the US title from JT Dunn, and they did a whole bunch of fuckery bullshit. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
because it was supposed to lead up.
Because he was under the mask and everything, right?
Right. Yeah, as Lucha and all that shit. Yeah. And, it was supposed to eventually lead up to a ladder match for the 2 US titles, a la fucking Shawn and Razor, and that match never happened. Because
I can't imagine why.
It's because Eric died and then Beth took over and the whole company went to shit. But anyways, so getting back to too many titles. So heavyweight title, US title, Spot Monkey title, the Revolution title, which then once it became RPW was basically defunct. So they remade that. So they just used that same belt and introduced it as a hardcore title at the next Christmas show in a gaga bullshit fucking match where I came out and started hitting people like whack-a-mole for the fuck of it.
I remember seeing a clip of that. Yes.
Yep. Because I fucking came up and Eric literally had nothing for me on the show. And that was when Guerrero had fucking edged me out of fucking the booking meetings. And I was like, well, fuck you. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Because obviously nobody here has any control of anything. So I literally just called my own shit. And when I didn't give a fuck, I was like, what are you going to do? Fire me? But so we had all these belts. And so then what happened was, getting back to Kevin Landry's school, what happened was they were cleaning up the fucking school, or I think it was when they were in the process of moving the location. And fucking one of the students found this fucking plastic fucking boxing title belt that had like the Velcro on the back. And it was a very nondescript fucking looking like medallion and shit. And so Eric just said, well, fuck it. That's going to be the RPW Caribbean Championship. And we had an 80s themed show, and there was an 80s gimmick battle royal where everyone was dressed as a fucking 80s character, like cartoon or otherwise. And fucking Izzy, fucking Isaiah Rex fucking won the battle royal as Cobra Commander, even though all he did was have this blue ghetto-ass SWAT helmet on and his like t-shirt and regular gear. And he became the RPW Caribbean champion. And then like it got defended once at a fundraiser we did in Holyoke where he defended it against 5-star Jace. It was literally like, here's the belt for all the Landry students so we can shut them up. And it was a nothing title. And that's what the All Atlantic title is.
If I remember, I'm trying to think. Oh, I'm trying to think of his name. Grassa.
Mike Grassa, yep.
I want to say he held it at one point.
No, he held the No Limits title.
Oh.
He held the Spot Monkey belt.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember when the belt first introduced it, Eric was like, because at the time that was when TNA had made the X Division title, it could only be defended in 3 ways. So Eric said that the No Limits title was always going to be a 4-way match. It always No Limits title matches always had to be 4 ways. Yeah. And I went, no, that's fucking stupid.
Anyways, now we're taking a trip down memory lane.
Of course, the final No Limits champion was Shady.
Anyways,
because when I think of Spot Monkeys, however, the person Shady defeated for that title,
wait.
It was in a ladder match.
I know. That's why I'm thinking. 3
people in attendance.
That might have been the one show I was at. Hang on.
Took place in Palmer, Mass, in a rectory.
Yes, I was there.
Repaid.
He was getting the shit beat out of him too. I'm drawing a blank. I'm really because I remember Mooch and Sweet were tag champs. Or
that was when they won the tag belts. That was when they
Okay.
won the tag belts.
It was that same show.
Yes, it was.
I'm drawing a goddamn blank. I want to say it was a big dude, and I can't remember who it was. I don't know. Hook me up.
It was Jim Anderson.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Shady versus Jim Anderson in a ladder match in front of 3 paid.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I was thinking of Grassa, because I was thinking of that show, actually.
Yeah.
Didn't they... Wasn't that also a ladder match, too? Didn't they do 2 ladder matches that show?
I don't know. I know there was a 4 corners match where AJ Cruz dropped the heavyweight title.
Yes.
To the man who still has it. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the only reason I even bothered helping that show was because Len was booked. Yeah.
That was literally
the year with Len.
That was literally the year that Len won 2 company titles and that both companies never held a show again.
Yeah, I rode with Len to that show, actually, now that I think about it. That was always fun.
That was when Len became the new Ron Zombie. Because it used to be the saying, don't put your title on Ron Zombie, he'll kill your company. Len became the new Ron Zombie that year.
Nice job, Len. Now, let's get to the thing I know you want to talk about to kind of wrap shit up on the show.
Yeah. And this was actually just posted this morning by him. And the screenshot I showed you was Bob Evans sharing it.
Okay. So Alex Hammerstone, the current reigning defending MLW heavyweight champion of the world.
And I've got it pulled up here too, so I can read it.
And I'll pull it up on the screen too for the YouTube viewership. Decided to go off on some peeps in the wrestling business. Not specific people, but in general. It was a general statement, but it was something that I know JJ and I wholly agree on. So I'll pull it up and you can go ahead and read away if you like, and I'll take the banner off so it's not blocking part of this.
All right. So this was the post that was made earlier this morning. Wrestling resumes are generally a bunch of information that means nothing, nobody wants to read, and doesn't help you in any way. Seminars attended, any moron can pay $40 for a seminar. Extra work, nobody cares you dressed up as a fucking pickle, danced to the ring with Adam Rose. Career accomplishments, outside of that company, nobody cares about the Anarchy Southern Light Heavyweight Deathmatch After Hours Intergender Galactic Unicorn Championship. Notable opponents, a Ford Taurus can race a Lamborghini, doesn't increase the value of the Taurus. I'm not trying to hurt feelings, but use some common sense. If someone doesn't know who the fuck you are, don't send them 2 pages of nonsense to read. And the hilarity ensued on both his social media and where Bob Evans shared it on people who were completely divisive over this. And I thought it was hilarious that people were divisive, because the reason Bob Evans shared this, and this, because I've talked to Bob and we agree on this, and I've spoken on it before here, where Bob at his seminar says, don't send promotions this long drawn out copy paste with, you know, with all this shit about your resume and all this shit. They're not going to read it. No one cares. And then so someone actually said, this comes out as a douche post and I had respect for you, and this is just vague booking. No, it's not vague booking. Hammerstone's 100% true. And they're like, this is why you've never gotten past where you are. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't know if y'all motherfuckers realize it, but fucking Hammerstone's not that old. He's 31. You know, like, he may look a little more weathered, but Alexander Hammerstone is 31 years old and he still has time to get signed to a major deal. I'm like, I know he is under MLW contract right now, and I know that he's honoring that contract, but once
God forbid anybody tampers with a Bauer contract.
Exactly. And, you know,
lawsuit.
Considering he stuck around after they took one of his stablemates and another one got in trouble with the law, and he was still able to run with shit. Like, he was able to shine out of that, because originally Hammerstone was a fucking third banana to fucking Teddy Hart and fucking MJF. And then Holiday was the lackey of the four in the group. And Hammerstone went from being a third banana to being the fucking focal point of the company. And that was just in a matter of 2 years.
Right.
He knows what he's talking about. And me and Bob Evans have talked about this and everything, you know, I mean, like I said, I'm on hiatus right now, but that doesn't mean I'm not looking at talent. The whole thing, you know, I'm always looking at who the next people are that I want to, you know, look at. I look at who's getting booked regularly around here. I'm looking at who's getting overbooked regularly around here. And I'm looking at who may show potential but isn't getting used as much. If you are to contact a promoter as a human being, you will get a lot more out of it than copy pasted. This is who, like, and the thing about seminars, I fucking despise that shit so much. I've attended seminars, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so have I. It doesn't mean shit.
Mm-hmm.
And someone's actually like, well, sometimes a title means something because I booked for certain companies, blah, blah. No, it doesn't. Anybody with fucking $400 to rent a fucking Legion Hall and $200 to have a belt made online, it doesn't fucking matter. The only time titles matter is if it's a televised company that you have held a title for. Televised, not YouTube, not Fight TV, not IWTV, actual television. Which, last I checked, there are 3 companies that have televised wrestling in the United States. And if you're already on that level, you really don't need to sell yourself on titles that I've held to indie promoters.
Correct.
You know, always, if you contact someone and you need references, name your trainer. Make sure that there's a way to contact that trainer. Don't make up the name of a trainer, Joey Bricko. Because to this day, to this day, it's been fucking 14 years, and I've still never heard of a fucking WWE enhancement talent named Chandler Moody. You lying little fucking midget. Because that's what Joey Bricko said trained him. Lies. Fuck Joey Bricko. Name who you train and name up, if you have some formidable references, like, go ahead. Like, there was like the first couple of shows we ran, Surfer Kid, Brandon, Paul Destry. I was forgetting his work name, but he said he trained under Lance. So we contacted Lance, and Lance said, yeah, he's decent, which, coming from Lance, is that's like basically saying you're fucking golden. Like, if Lance doesn't shit on you, then you did well. So that was, But like, I remember when Brandon found that out because Tony DeVito was there and texted Lance, and he kind of got offended that we contacted Lance. I'm like, dude, we were checking on you, like, take it as a compliment. Like, we weren't doubting you. We just wanted confirmation from your trainer, so we knew that, you know, we weren't in our hands. You know, that's all you got to do. Give a reference, you know, and to like say like where you're active. You know, you could say I've been wrestling for 9 years, but if you've been wrestling for one company that draws 15 people once every 2 months for the past 9 years, that doesn't mean shit.
Right.
Like, I'm going to get completely real here. There's a lot of people who would tell me that shit who literally only worked for Showcase Pro Wrestling, which is Chris Blackheart's promotion, which I don't even know still runs or not. And I'm not shitting on Chris Blackheart, and I'm not shitting on his promotion, but I do know that they only ran X amount of shows, and I would watch videos, and they did have a core audience. That core audience is only about 20 people. So I need to know that you're working somewhere besides just that one place. And footage is always great. Highlight reels, they're okay. Give me a 5 to 10 minute match to watch. Don't give me some Iron Man match. Don't give me some gaga fucking hardcore match. Give me a regular ass match to watch. Give me a match. Like, here's a bit. Give me a match where you've gone over. Give me a match where you have not gone over. Give me a promo video that you shot for a company. Your promo videos online should be no longer than a minute long. I'm trying to give advice here. I'm not shitting on anyone. But this is something that people, you know, people who have been offended at what Hammerstone had to say today, guess what? You're offended because you know that you're being called out without him ever having met you.
Exactly.
Like, Hammerstone's doing well. I mean, word is Hammerstone might be getting a spot in the next season of Young Rock. Because Luke Hawx was put forward to finding lookalikes because Hawx played Stone Cold in Young Rock last season. There's word that Hammerstone might play Hogan.
Brother.
I mean, he looks like him. With the right aesthetics, like, you could make him, you could see him doing Hollywood Hogan.
Sure.
But I mean, it's, you know, it's sometimes guys sound like assholes, but you need to look at the context and not the tone. Because I get told I'm an asshole all the time, and I know I'm an asshole, but the advice that I give is coming from a professional standpoint. That's what was bestowed onto me by fucking Credible and Mike Milano and even fucking Jason Knight. First rule is free. Shut up and listen. Which, Jesus fuck, today's is 3 days. God damn it. It's the 17th of October when we're taping this. 3 days from now is going to be the 12-year anniversary of Mike Milano passing. Jesus. 12 fucking years, which means November is going to be 19 years that I've been in the fucking business.
Feel old?
Very, considering Milano had only been in the business for 9 years when he passed.
Yeah, you're old.
Very. Very.
All right, real quick before we to wrap up. Forgot to mention Triple A.
Oh yeah, that's right. That happened.
They had their third and final Triple Mania 30 show this weekend in Mexico City.
Did I not call it?
So here's what we had.
I called it. With that whole gimmick match fuckery, and I said, so basically Viano's going to lose her mask.
Right. So they opened the main show with a 4-way tag to determine future contenders for the tag titles.
Why not have FTR there?
I don't fucking know.
They've held those belts for a year and have never defended them there.
Dragon Lee and Dralistico won the match, which are, I believe they're brothers, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Oh, Roosh has another brother?
Apparently. Then Taya successfully defended the Reina de Reinas championship against Camille, who was filling in for Thunder Rosa, which we mentioned before.
Right.
Then what'll go down as probably your favorite trios team of all time. Sam Adonis, Brian Cage, and Johnny Caballero, a.k.a. Johnny.
Everything.
Yes. Became the new trios champions. Which were, going into the match, they were El Cuatrero, Sansón, and Forastero. Were also in the match. It was a three-way match.
It was a three-way of three. Yeah, Jesus, fuck.
Then we had a hair versus hair match. Pagano beats Cibernetico.
Yay.
Hijo del Vikingo retained the Mega Championship over Rey Fenix. And then the main event, the mask match, Pentagon Jr. beating Viano 4, and Viano 4 had on mask. So no tag titles held by FTR, and they didn't have a mixed tag team title match, which is held by Ty and Sammy Guevara.
Right.
Reasons.
But yeah, FTR literally won those belts a year ago and have defended them like on Dynamite once. Like, what the fuck's the point?
I don't know. Ask the bookers. I don't know. Ask TK and whoever the fuck books AAA. I don't know.
TK keeps pulling this power move on fucking AAA. Like, literally, this is what it is every time. Is, oh, we put our fucking titles on someone who works for AEW, and then here comes our big fucking pay-per-view, and TK goes, no, I can't have them drop something until I have them drop something else.
Even though you just had Mox drop the GCW title.
Well, yeah, because reasons. Because Mox had to drop that title because he told Mox he's not allowed to work indie shows anymore. But that's different, don't you know? Because that's American pay-per-view.
Anything else before we go?
Fuck Tony Khan.
It's a good way to go out. That does it for episode 71 of White Heat, presented by Godzilla Media, sponsored by our friends at Mohawk Honda and Johnstone Supply. Also, forget the Hideaway at Saratoga Lake Golf Course, your home for Godzilla Media Football Sundays this month. Social media, I'm at Brian Cady. He's at JJ_Alexander on Twitter. Comments, questions, concerns, war stories. If you want to say fuck you to Alex Hammerstone, whatever you want to do. Brian.Cady at GodzillaMedia.com. Don't come for me, come for JJ. Just kidding.
Go ahead, bring it, bitch.
Yeah, that's all I've got. So yeah. Anything else? You good?
I'm good.
All right. So, for all the people in attendance and the millions watching across YouTube, say fuck Judas.
Fuck Judas!